Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to being well-informed. We unpack complex topics, pull out the key insights from, well, a whole stack of sources. This deep dive is part of our series, Navigation a Business Model. We're breaking down these big strategic ideas into actionable atomic units.
Yeah, like the basic building blocks, simple, testable things you can combine or, change up as you learn.
Exactly. And today we're diving into something really crucial if you're starting or growing a business, hypothesis-driven entrepreneurship. To really get it, let's picture two entrepreneurs. Okay. First, imagine Sarah. Brilliant idea. She spends 18 months, 18 painstaking months, crafting what she thinks is the perfect product.
Pouring everything into it, savings, energy, the whole 9 yards.
Right. Her thinking, build it and they will come. You know, that field of dreams idea?
The classic approach.
But then she launches.
Yeah.
And with crickets, nobody wanted it. All that work, that investment, just gone. Because she built it, well, in a vacuum.
Ouch, that hurts just thinking about it.
Now, picture David. Similar kind of spark, a new idea. But instead of locking himself away for, a year and a half,
He did something different.
totally different. He tested a really rough version of his idea in just 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Well.
He learned fast. It wasn't quite right. His initial guess was off. But instead of giving up,
He pivoted.
he pivoted, used what he learned, adjusted his approach to something customers actually did want, and ultimately found success.
And that difference, that tension between the long, elaborate plan and this faster, adaptive way, that's what we're digging into today.
Absolutely.
It's about how you can, embrace that uncertainty, get the information you need efficiently, and really, really boost your chances of building something people genuinely value.
And reduce risk doing it right, not increase it.
Precisely. By thinking a bit more like a scientist.
Okay, so let's get right into it then. What is hypothesis-driven entrepreneurship? What makes it so different from, the old way?
Well, at its heart, it's about treating your business idea, or maybe even just a new feature like a scientific experiment.
An experiment.
Yeah. So instead of saying, I know this is going to work,
Mm-hmm.
you shift your mindset. You say, okay, I believe this might work, but now I need to actually test that belief.
Okay, so less certainty, more curiosity.
Exactly. It's a huge change from, say, writing that massive 50-page business plan that's just packed with projections, which are really just untested guesses, right?
Right, pages and pages of assumptions.
Instead, you might start with something way simpler, maybe a one-page sheet outlining your key hypotheses, or even just clearly stating your biggest, riskiest assumptions.
So it's less like being an architect with these perfect fixed blueprints where, changing anything is super expensive.
Right.
And more like a scientist in a lab, constantly tweaking theories, running tests.
That's a great analogy. But, and this is important, it's not just random testing. You brought up a good point earlier, getting stuck testing forever.
Yeah, analysis paralysis.
Right. It's about structured experiments. Like a scientist, you design tests to answer very specific questions. It acknowledges that, look, in the early days, things are messy, unpredictable.
For sure.
You're almost certainly going to revise your original idea, maybe multiple times, as you get real feedback. So it's about debating those core assumptions up front.
Okay.
Identifying the big unknowns that you absolutely must figure out before you pour in serious money or time. Your initial vision, who you serve, what problem you solve, your basic solution that's your anchor. It keeps you grounded even as the specifics change.
And these debates, these questions, they aren't just happening inside the founding team's heads, are they?
Oh, definitely not. That's where the real magic happens. You got to take those debates outside.
To customers.
To customers, absolutely. To industry experts who know the space, to advisors, maybe even potential partners. The goal is to gather real-world intel fast. Swap that guesswork for actual data.
Okay, the scientific experiment idea, it leads right into the lean startup framework, doesn't it? The whole build, measure, learn cycle.
It does, yeah. That's the engine driving this whole approach.
So how does that cycle actually work? And tell us more about this pivoting thing David did.
Okay, build, measure, learn. You start with a hypothesis, right? Maybe a fairly broad one, like, I think dog owners in my city struggle to find reliable walkers. That's your starting point.
Got it.
Then you build, but you build the simplest possible thing to test that hypothesis. It might not even be code. It could be a landing page explaining the service, a mock-up, maybe just detailed conversations. Just enough to get real feedback.
Okay, minimum viable test, almost.
Exactly. Minimum effort for maximum learning. Then you measure. What happens? Do people sign up on the landing page? Do they understand the mock-up? Do they confirm the problem in conversations? You need concrete data here, not just, oh, that sounds nice.
Right, actual behavior or strong confirmation.
Then you learn, look at the data. Did it support your hypothesis? Was your assumption right or wrong? And that learning dictates your next move.
Which might be just a small tweak.
Could be. That's an iteration. You refine your approach based on the feedback. Or if the data shows your core assumption was way off.
That's the pivot.
That's the pivot. It's a bigger shift. You change a fundamental part of your business model, maybe the target customer, the solution itself, the pricing, but you usually keep the core vision, like solving that broader problem. It's not failure, it's a strategic course correction based on evidence.
Okay, that makes sense. Can you give us some more real-world examples? How have companies used this build, measure, learn, and pivoting?
Absolutely. Think about Be Bureau, that mobile beauty service. Instead of just launching everywhere with everything,
Which would be super risky.
hugely risky, they ran tiny experiments. Like, okay, let's test manicures in this neighborhood for 2 weeks. Let's try massages in that neighborhood. They measured demand, costs, customer feedback for each little test.
So they broke the big decision into small, testable pieces.
Precisely. They figured out the winning combo of services and locations before scaling up, based on actual results, not just a guess.
Smart. What about that idea of taking on the customer's risk? You mentioned Netafim.
Netafim, the drip irrigation company, great example. They had this amazing water-saving tech for farmers, but small farmers, they were skeptical.
Didn't trust it. Too expensive.
Both. They saw it as risky. Netafim's initial assumption farmers will jump on this was wrong. So they pivoted their model. They offered the whole package design, installation, hardware, maintenance for free up front.
Free. How'd they make money?
They took a share of the increased crop yield the farmer got from using the system. So Netafim took all the financial risk. If the system didn't work, Netafim lost.
Wow. That makes it easy for the farmer to say yes.
A total no-brainer.
Yeah.
They let Netafim prove their value, gather data on yield increases, and validate their whole model without the customer taking the initial risk. They de-risked adoption.
Brilliant. And the big tech companies, Dropbox, for instance.
Oh yeah, Dropbox is a textbook case. Drew Houston had the idea, but building cloud storage back then, super complex.
Right. Huge technical challenge.
So instead of building it all, he made an MVP, a minimum viable product that was just a video.
A video, not actual software.
Nope, just a simple screencast showing how Dropbox would work. He put it online to see if people even got the concept and wanted it.
Man.
It went viral. Huge validation of the core need before they wrote tons of code. He also tested how to get users. Thought search engine marketing or big deals would work.
But they didn't.
Nope. Early tests showed those channels were duds for them. So he quickly pivoted the growth strategy to focus on viral marketing, shared folders, referral bonuses. That came from testing, not guessing.
Amazing. And Twitter wasn't always Twitter, right?
That's right. It started as Odeo, a podcasting platform.
Podcasting. Wow.
Yeah. But Odeo was kind of struggling. The market wasn't quite ready. Meanwhile, they had this little internal side project, a simple status updating tool their employees were using.
Yeah.
They noticed it was getting traction internally, saw the potential, learned from that usage, and made a massive pivot. They bet the company on that side project, which became Twitter. They followed the data, not the original plan.
Incredible stories. Okay, so if basically every assumption is a hypothesis, what are the absolute must-test ones for any startup or even a new project in a big company?
Good question. You can generally group them into 4 key areas. First, the problem hypothesis.
Meaning?
Do people actually have the problem you think you're solving? And importantly, is it painful enough for them to actively look for a solution?
Okay, problem. What's next?
Second, the solution hypothesis. Does your specific solution actually fix that problem for them? And is it better than what they do now, even if that's just ignoring the problem?
Problem, solution. Got it.
Third, the market hypothesis. Are there enough people out there with this problem who might want your solution? And crucially, are they willing and able to pay for it? Is the market big enough to build a real business?
Makes sense. And the last one.
Finally, the business model hypothesis. Can you actually deliver this solution profitably? Can you acquire customers for less money than you'll eventually make from them? The basic economics.
Problem, solution, market, business model. Okay, let's make this concrete. Back to that dog walking app idea. How do you test those 4 without building the whole app?
Great example. Okay, problem hypothesis first. You don't just build the app and see. You go talk to dog owners.
Interviews.
Deep interviews, not would you use an app, But tell me about getting your dog walked now. What's great? What's terrible? Or describe the last time you had trouble finding a walker. You dig for the real pain points. Is this a hair on fire problem or just a mild annoyance?
Okay, uncover the actual need. Then what?
Then solution hypothesis. Maybe sketch out some screens, a paper prototype, or a simple digital mock-up using something like Figma. Show it to those dog owners.
And watch them use it.
Exactly. Watch them try to use it. Do they get it? Does it seem easier than their current method? Where do they get stuck? You're testing if your proposed fix actually resonates and seems usable.
Okay. Now, the market hypothesis. Are there enough paying customers?
Right. Here, maybe you run some cheap online ads, Facebook, Google, whatever. Target dog owners in your city. The ad clicks through to a simple landing page.
That just describes the service.
Yeah, describes the proposed service and asks people to sign up for a wait list, maybe offering an early bird discount. You measure click-through rates, sign-up rates. You can even add a question like, how much would you expect to pay? Gauges interest and willingness to pay a low-cost way.
Clever. And finally, the business model hypothesis. Testing profitability.
This often needs a bit more real-world testing, but still small scale. Maybe you run a tiny pilot. You manually recruit, say, 5 dog walkers and 10 dog owners.
Like a concierge service, almost.
Exactly. You handle all the scheduling and payments yourself, maybe via email or phone. You charge the owners, pay the walkers, track all your cost-paying walkers, any ad spend to get those first customers, your own time. Does the revenue per walk actually cover those costs? Can you see a path to profit?
So testing isn't always about code. It can be conversations, mock-ups, simple ads, even manual simulations.
Precisely. You choose the test based on the hypothesis. You often trade realism for speed and low cost, especially early on. A chat is faster than code. A mock-up is cheaper than a full build.
That makes so much sense. So why does this work better? Why does all this testing and iterating beat the big, detailed plan, especially when things are so uncertain?
Because in new ventures, frankly, gathering real information always beats trying to predict the future,
Prediction is hard.
especially in fast-moving markets. Let's be honest, your first idea, it's probably wrong, or at least it's not quite right. And that's okay, it's totally normal.
It's expected, almost.
It should be. The goal isn't to perfectly predict success on day one. The goal is to learn as fast as possible. Traditional plans often fail because they lock you into assumptions that turn out to be wrong, and by the time you realize it, you spent a ton of money and time going down the wrong path.
So speed of learning beats perfection of planning.
Absolutely. And if you try to scale too early, before you've really nailed that product market fit, found customers who truly love and repeatedly use your product,
You lose your agility.
you lose your biggest advantage as a startup. Being nimble, making those necessary pivots becomes incredibly hard and expensive once you have lots of staff, infrastructure, marketing campaigns, all tied to the flawed initial plan. It's like trying to turn a giant oil tanker versus a speedboat.
We saw that with Diner, right? That meal delivery example sounds like a cautionary tale.
Oh, Diner is a perfect, if painful, example. They had fantastic initial feedback, like 96% satisfaction ratings.
Sounds amazing.
You'd think so.
But
The killer metric was repurchase rate. 70% of those supposedly happy customers never ordered again.
wow, so the initial praise didn't translate to a viable business.
Not at all. They realized their customer lifetime value, how much they'd make from a customer over time, was way lower than their customer acquisition cost, what it cost to get that customer. They needed people to order repeatedly. That meant the positive survey data was misleading. They had to fundamentally rethink the service, not just tweak based on compliments.
That really highlights why you need to test the critical behaviors, not just opinions.
Exactly. You need to find the metrics that truly indicate a sustainable business. Max Levchin from PayPal famously said getting from your initial plan A to a viable plan B often takes months, sometimes years of this kind of iteration. You let the market, the real data, guide you, not just your initial vision board.
So wrapping this up, it sounds like every single assumption, who the customer is, their problem, your solution, how you reach them, how you charge them, it's all just a hypothesis waiting to be tested.
That's the core mindset, every single one. And by embracing that, you're not avoiding risk, you're managing it intelligently. You learn faster, you waste less, and you dramatically increase your odds of actually building something people want and will pay for. You're basically designing your venture for discovery, not just execution.
And it's really not about avoiding failure, is it? It's more about making failure productive.
Failing fast and cheap. Learn from the small failures so you don't have one big catastrophic failure later.
So, thinking about the listener now, whether they're dreaming up a startup or maybe launching a new product inside a bigger company, what's the takeaway?
If you're thinking about a new idea, ask yourself, what is the single biggest, riskiest assumption I am making right now? The thing that, if it's wrong, the whole idea falls apart.
Find the linchpin of something.
Find that linchpin. Maybe it's people will pay $50 a month for this. Maybe it's small businesses actually want help with social media, whatever it is for you.
That's where you start testing.
That's where you start. Design the smallest, fastest, cheapest experiment you can think of to get some real data on that one thing. Forget the rest for a moment. Just test that. What you learn from that first test will be incredibly valuable. Way more valuable than weeks spent perfecting a plan based on a guess.
That is a powerful, practical thought. Test the biggest risk first. Brilliant. Thanks for breaking that down for us.
My pleasure.
And thanks to all of you for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep digging for those insights and maybe start testing some hypotheses.